guys feel today? Good?
Yeah.
All right.
It's okay. Yeah, we do. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, it's very good to be here. Very excited to get into this topic.
Okay, one word, and wait. Okay, so we're here, we all know about, we are every day looking forward by advertisement of AI. But today, we would like to bring something practical.
See.
One word, practical and hands-on. Thank you.
That's what our executive cafe is actually works. All right, should we start it?
Yes.
Correct. Okay, we all understand the basic theory of artificial intelligence. So I just want to ask Mr. Wisdom first about the latest trends of artificial intelligence in management of Vietnamese business in today's society. To be honest, how could one business actually transform from traditional system into higher level by using artificial intelligence? What do you think about it?
Thank you. Before share my idea on the topic, I'd like to express that today I'm very deeply moved to see the very high percentage of MBA candidate and graduates are female. You are future leader. And this I'm lecturer for many MBA programs, and the program have a high percentage of female candidate and graduates. Congratulations to you. Speaking to the leadership, there are lots of definitions about leadership. But for me, as 30 years of working experience, in that's almost 20 years in management and being a leader, I think leadership is it's about motivating and inspiring. So as a candidate and graduate, let's keep that towards motivating and inspiring people as a leader. And in the area of the AI technologies, now technologies form and change the way we doing business, and also change the way we leading people. And before telling you that, I'd like to tell you a story that last month I was in Singapore. After almost 6 years before COVID, and now I was back to Singapore. And one thing that's amazing, and I've been shocked to see that I can use my Vietnamese bank issue credit card to directly tap in the bus system and in the MRT system. At the end of the day, all the fee go to my bank account in Vietnam. This is very, very normal concept for all of you to see here. Now, contactless technology we can do. But what I want to share here, how integration and connection of the technology architect in Singapore. That's what we are facing a lot of challenge in Vietnam. And there's 98% of company in Vietnam are SME. And the technology architect of 98% SME company cannot integrate, cannot connect to the end of the world. So first thing, we cannot use AI. We cannot use technologies if we don't have the international standard architect of technology. For the first thing. So for the AI itself, then I don't want to explain how AI is. I just to mention important things that people will not tell you. People just tell you how AI, what AI do. But when you build integrate and connect system, then you will apply AI with IoT and big data. That is the things. Big data means that you have that's technology, then you can solve a huge amount of very complex data. And IoT, that means the 1,000 billion of devices in the world connect to internet. Then with the IoT and big data, we can use AI to improve our business. So as mentioned for the question, from management, from traditional management to the model applying AI, in particular and technology in general, then, for example, when I apply AI with IoT in big data, in leadership or in management, then first, then improve my decision making, very fast, accurate, and help us to improve customer service and reduce cost by using AI. I don't want to spend more time to explain the technical. Just my friend here, they will explain more when they apply in the reality. And AI with IoT and data help us in working with people, how the emotional problem then with my staff, and also foster an innovation culture in the organization. Today, if any company, if any of you as a leader, we cannot adapt with the changing very fast of technology, you will be lost. So that's what I want to explain to you, that how traditional management transfer to the model management using AI and technology. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Any comments from the rest of the two speakers, Mr. Andrew?
Yeah, so I think that the so part of what I'll talk about shortly is around that. As a leader, you need to have some of that understanding of what is possible, because it's not going to change overnight. So the implementation of these things can be, 2, 3, 5 years vision on where you want to get to. There are accelerators in a way of getting there quicker, but it's still a big investment to be able to make it to that point. So that ability as a leader to actually understand what can the technology do, but then understanding that it's going to take time and investment to get there is a big shift.
Thank you, sir. What about Mr. Khám? Any comments?
Okay, just want to share like a personal experience. Like three years ago, right? That's the first time we heard something related to the generative AI, especially ChatGPT. So at the time I was shocked with the advertisement, and I couldn't believe it. I thought it would make a change, but right now I realize that it's going to automate what we are doing right now, especially for business leaders. My dearest industry mentors, and all the fellows, MBA students, graduate students. What I'm trying to say here is that staying near all of these leaders tell me a story that I need to change. And I realized that after encountering the AI, generative, and the advertisement, I need to change, especially all of the operations of my company. So I have changed and direct all of the company into one single target. Mastering the skills of AI first by learning the knowledge about it. And yeah, this is what I'm trying to say, change or to be changed.
All right, so I see the similar ideas about three of the speakers, which is we have to change with us first. The leaders must be changed beforehand, right? So let's move into the leadership skill. We talk about that. To the second topic we talk about is the leadership skill, how we connect with the backbone of a company, like Mr. Fong used to say. So I want to ask Mr. Andrew one more question. Then, how can one business start the initial step to actually transfer to AI management? And what are potential skills that the leaders should have or acknowledge in order to launch the automation process? I know it might take like, over years, not like overnight. Yeah. But first, what is potential skills?
So I'd probably break this down into 4 areas. So first is that technical piece, which we've kind of touched on. So you have to understand where you're going, but you also need to understand what those pitfalls are. There's a lot of risks involved, and so as a leader you need to have enough technical know-how to ask the right questions. So I'm not saying you need to be an absolute expert in AI, but you would need to know which privacy regulations do you need to adhere to, and who is holding your data and where is that data being held. So there's a lot around the technical, especially if you're outsourcing, but also internally, how are you managing your data, and that difference creates sort of a ChatGPT, which is all public data, versus having your own private data side. So there's a big technical component that you have to have, I think, as a leader now. The next part is around that strategic thinking. So when we talked before about, is it 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 years? All right, you can't chase the next shiny thing. So at the moment we can look and see what Google, Meta, Amazon are doing. But if you're a SME, one of the 98% of the businesses in Vietnam, you're not at that level. And so if you're wanting to move from potentially paper-based, where you don't have anything currently digitized, into being a AI-run, automated, fully digital company, there is a big roadmap of things that you need to be able to see. So that strategic vision is an extremely important capability when looking at AI. The next part is around the change management. AI, as we're kind of talking about from that sort of generative type point of view, affects every single layer of the business. There's been a number of studies done recently. So in New Zealand, 75 to 90% of people are already using AI in their job. That may not be the business one. That means that my boss asks me a question, I don't know the answer, so I ask ChatGPT, and then I tell my boss. I get sent all the meeting minutes, I put it into ChatGPT, it gives me the summary, I send the response back to my boss. Now all of a sudden your businesses and your organization's data has been put out into the cloud. Alright, it's now available for anybody else using ChatGPT. And so that's already happening in our businesses. So that change management part of going, okay, what are the people at my different levels doing? What controls do I need to put in place? How do I change their mindset? How do I get them aware of what it means if they're using ChatGPT with my financial annual report, which is going out a month or two before my annual report? Right? So these sorts of risks and that change management is really important. And then just to touch on that last one is around the risk management. So that is your ethics as well. So making sure that you are thinking around what am I doing with my data? What biases am I putting into my data? So a lot of the models that are available in the market are based on American data, but we're in Vietnam. So what biases are present if I'm asking them a question that is completely unrelated then to what I might be doing here in Vietnam? And so there's a lot of that sort of bias risk. And then my last point, and I'm talking about that here, is on the liability. There's a very funny case study just recently in Canada, where Air Canada has been held liable for what their chatbot said. Because Air Canada was trying to say, no, the chatbot's not us, it's provided by a third party. Because the chatbot gave an amazing discount. And then the company's like, no, we didn't do that. And then the person who bought that at the discount sued Air Canada and won, because they said, no, you are responsible, you are liable for what your AI is saying and doing. And so those wrong answers are now very important on you as a business. So having that mindset across those 4 areas of technical, strategic, change management, and risk management, I think are the key capabilities all leaders need now.
So I heard you talk about risk, right? But we kind of not talk about that yet. We're going to move into the next section.
Yeah.
But first, any comments about this one, about leadership skill, Mr. Phong? What do you think?
Yeah, that's a very interesting comment from Mr. Andrew. Then I want to add on another areas. Backing to what I'm talking about leadership. Leadership is about motivation. When we're talking about motivation, because all of you here future leader or now leaders, so you understand that's to motivate, how to motivate your staff in traditional and how to motivate your staff in the model business in currently applying technology. Then motivation is the instinct motivation and instinct motivation. Instinct motivation means that you pay people money, people work because of money, and that's it. And they complete their work and you pay them. And instant motivation that people feel that's personal, emotional. They active doing not only because money, because you. because of inspiration, because of the vision on your company. So applying technology and applying the AI technology to motivate people, making leaders and faster decision making, and give the correct decision when you want to motivate the people. And for the instant motivation that will come to inspiring when you leading people. And that's key that I want to add more to the Mr. Andrew's comment in the technologies and AI.
I see. And now, Mr. Khan, any add-ons for this?
Oh wow, I was really impressed by all of the content that Mr. Tom and Mr. Andrew just delivered. There's one thing that I felt from what you just said that I was very impressed. The first one is leadership, right? Before we move on to my talk, before we move on to my comment, I would like to ask my fellow MBAs, how many of you are currently using AI to do the assignment? Okay, Mr. George, please take a picture. Okay, that's the reason. Okay, as you can see, there is really high percentage of people in this room. I'm not talking just about my friend, the MBAs, literally this group TikToker over there. He told us a lot about, hey, man, I hate Microsoft Teams, I would like to have locked all the time. So this is what I'm just trying to say, like people love, in this particular case, people like to change because it's really effective. So I think for the leadership role, the leaders should show how effective a person can use, okay, to maximize their efficiency, especially their employees and their staff. Okay, I can tell a story that you see that within 20 minutes, I just got it done. So you can do the same thing with your staff members. You can see that I can save your time, and right now you're going to have more money because you are more effective. That's an incentive. This is what I'm trying to do in my company. So you see, okay, I'm trying to say that give them the right stories. So use storytelling in maybe HRM and training rather than just KPIs. Thank you.
So besides strategic management, inspiring skills, and we also have to be how to use people in correct way, right? So
sorry, just add 1 minute.
Okay, sure.
Because this is very important for you, and I myself experienced this level of understanding about technology, and AI technology is very quite low in top line owner. Not only in Vietnam, it's over the world the same problem. But they who decide the buckets for you to apply technology. They might be the political person to decide the policy to apply technology, but both of them that have no knowledge and understanding, so they have a fear of applying this one. So over here we try to apply, but we meet very challenging. We facing with the objects defend from the high level to design you to do. So that's the most important thing that you are the future leader and you think about, and you can change that. One of my company, we publishing book in the market in Vietnam, and my owner, then our owner, then he designed a budget of 500 million Vietnam dong. For the 4 years, we teaching an AI to translate book from English to Vietnamese. When collecting what interesting book to publish in Vietnam, we have to read thousands of English books. It's very slow and take time, 3 or 4 months. So we decide to apply AI to translate, and the level of the fluency of the translation is just certify us at the level. Then we can choose what book to publish. Then AI cannot translate as then you as the reader, you read in Vietnamese, you feel comfortable, because in the wording in the book, then AI cannot translate emotional, and many hidden meaning AI cannot translate, cannot remove, cannot replace people, cannot replace our editor. And what we are doing with AI here. So come back to the point I want to say here. It's the level of how high level of the people who decide to apply AI, decide the boxes to apply AI. That's the most important thing, to decide how we achieve with this one. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
I just have one.
One more?
Yeah, I really want to say something.
So for all of my students who raised their hand about using AI,
So sorry.
I still need to mark those. So the one thing I was going to say on it is the AI doesn't create anything new. It can only create from what was before. And if you're using AI, the critical thinking part is absolute a must. And so if I read something which sounds like a robot, it's going to stand out to me. So do make sure you have read your essays and applied critical thinking for them.
Okay.
Thank you.
I see. Mr. George, any add-on?
Yeah.
All right, sure. Can I have a mic from Mr. George, please?
Oh wow.
We just.
Nothing.
You want to add?
I see.
We just raised a touch, right?
I was going to say, you've started something.
Anyone want to ask a question? Raise a debate.
I would like to add on a little bit on this. I think it's very debatable topic. So I'm teaching at MIT, and the same topic been raising if we allow the student using AI for assignment or not, or is it plagiarism, right? My definition, plagiarism, you need to plagiarize somebody, and AI should not have the real identity. And we cannot conclude is it plagiarism or not, right? And remember back in in the past, we need to think about don't try to use ebook or Google. We try to lose our skill on searching skill and reading skills. But look what's happening now. We have to move. But like Andrew said, we need to move wisely, right? So we need to know how it's gonna contribute to us, and we're gonna leverage that into your assignments, your works, make it more critical. Because by the end of the day, it's your work. You need to be responsible for yourself, right? And I think in the education sector, we are also, try to battling with ourselves to see how we're going to evaluate students in the next generation with AI support. The current one may be a little bit outdated. We try to accept quite a lot on how your student writing, put on that. But maybe in the future it might be different. That's why a big question for the education sector.
Thank you.
I will answer this question first, and then my friend will answer.
Sorry,
How does people need to know how? For the first, before you using AI or any technologies, you have to strong and good at back to basic. I mean, if you work in education, work in the manufacturer, in the hospitality, any area, what are the job career you are doing? You have to good at back to basic. You understand how the model running of your business. You have an insight of your business, and then you use AI as a supporting tool, and you can use it and optimize the ability of the AI to your job. For the future students, that if you don't good at your back to basic knowledge, you cannot use AI. Because AI just help us to give decision, help us to focus, and you have to decide. If AI cannot decide, you have to decide. And especially you are leader. What your design will change everything. So first you have to back to basic. Understand and good at your knowledge. So what you learn from the university, from the book, from whatever you learn, you good at, and then you using AI. And you are the person to give a decision, no one else.
But that's fine. Okay, we just stop it here, right? Thank you very much. I love it. It's very informative. This is what I really want to try to say. Thank you, Mr. Phong. So it's back to basics, right? So there are thousands of advertisements out there and thousands of ways and courses, AI courses, fake AI courses, and low quality AI courses as well. They ask you to join this, join that, right? So apart from this, we also see the point here is that we still have to use critical thinking to use them wisely. I love the way Mr. Thuỵ he told me, Mr. Thuỵ now told me that, okay, he wasn't here. So he told me that it's okay to use AI in your assignment, but it's more important if you add in something personal. It's more important with your knowledge, discipline, okay, to put in something that is yours, and this is the most important part, that's standing out. So I can see that outstanding. I can see that. So there's a lot of changes, but the good point here is, as a lecturer, as industry mentors, making decisions. So finally, it has to come back to you. You have to know how it is structured, use it wisely, and avoid fake courses, avoid fake low quality prompts. Thank you.
You want to add on?
We can
Thank you so much. Now back to Mr. Khám. Let's move into another issue of artificial intelligence in the product automation process. So if one business is actually ready for the transformation, then what are the advantage of the AI in the optimistic outcomes that actually reduce human time and effort on a complex and time-consuming task? This thing we talk about optimistic outcomes of the AI,
outcome, not the,
right?
Okay, not negative.
Have you ever experienced this?
Okay. So luckily, like 3 years ago, I joined WEF, World Economic Forum, Ho Chí Minh City. Okay, I have heard a lot of case studies and was really impressed. Also, one of the ambassador from UAE, Israel, he said a word that I absolutely appreciate. So, first one is, we together, the business leaders in Israel, when we apply AI, we share the knowledge with other business owners. So of course, when applying the technology in our business, right, transformative, or the keyword in industrial transformation, we gain the competitive advantage, of course, over. And there is a case study from a very famous nuclear plant. Okay, he told that, right, they just set a lot of plants, more plants within a few years, then only a few cutoffs. So the efficiency increased more than 50% each. That's the first thing. So they applied in, operations, HRM, human resource management, and of course with the function operation in details and customer services. Another case study is, I'm going to use my own companies, right? So you can see that in the past, it's going to take a lot of time to mark someone, to mark a candidate, student. So I have some really important talk with British Council Global. They told me that they're trying to incorporate AI as an examiner as well. So in the future, it's going to take about 5 to 10 minutes to mark one candidate. As you can see, in the past, it used to be 13 days. Now it's 5 days, and in the near future, it's going to be 5 minutes. As you can see, right, cut cost. And that's the positive outcomes. And of course, there's nothing as good as really. It's really good. There's nothing too good to be true. The negative side is there will be a lot of layoffs of examiners and staff, marketing staff as well. Yeah, that's right. That's a good side. Bad side. For the marketing courses, right? Use course to create content, but that's a good side as well. So people have started to learn, and then there are a lot of case studies. I believe all of the ladies and gentlemen here have already applied AI in their daily tasks, especially in content creating. By using the right prompt, asking the right questions. That's the second thing. Okay?
Thank you so much. Any add-on for this topic?
Very interesting topic. I can tell you for the day by day, month by month. You don't have time to tell. And so I just had two cases in when we optimizing the AI. And my college, I'm working in the hospitality industries. My college is IG, the international intercontinental hotel group. We apply AI in the selecting people. Actually, there's about 10 or 20 different brands, from luxury, mid-scale, and economic. And when we recruiting GM, that's leader of a hotel, we have to collect from the pool of talents who have the character and skill, capability, adapt and suitable to which brand. Because the 10 or 20 brands, we have a different identity, we have a different market, different customer, and different customer service level. So we put in every CV of candidate to the AI, and she work in the data, and we give it the test like we put in the gamification. So GM candidate, they are testing they're working with our gamification. And at the end, the result come out. AI will select and suggest who suitable to which brand very fast, and have us and the correct recruitment up to 90%. And that's what AI, then the people in the world apply AI. And the second thing, not for the recruitment, for marketing. You know, when you're using over keeping this in your body, without this we cannot live. I'm sure. Even though we're sleeping, we just keep this very close to us. So when you're driving in the roads, why Google Maps know where is now traffic jam? We turn on red because all of us report to Google from this one. So that means all of us now are being inspired. And in terms of marketing, and here now, for example, we are selling some product or service. The customer approach the area, and in their device, we go with pop-up, then tell about us, tell about product, and invite them to come to us automatically. That's what AI can do. But AI only can do when they can connect to the internet. That means IoT and big data. That's two example of applying AI in the world now. A lot of things, and I'm telling about this 5 years before COVID, but simply it's happened in Vietnam very not many. So that's why last week I was in a very big event, and I tell people here that they working from the technology company. This is a chance to become second Steve Jobs. If you can build a product that apply AI, IoT, and big data in our industries, hospitality industries, where then we are fighting with robot and human touch, then and the game is yours. And that's two things that I want to share with you about the how apply AI. And
so to bring it down to a very specific sort of business situation. So in your businesses, there are your value add processes, everything which is connected to making your company more money, and then there are your cost processes. AI is bringing in amazing opportunities for the people who are in the value processes to add more value. Now, unfortunately, that more value means that some people will be removed from those processes, but the people who are there will be doing more valuable work. So you start moving away from being a call center and helping somebody change a password to being a finance manager. You're taking the conversations which are going to be bringing more value to the organization, require more of a human touch. And those ones which are just the general manual, constantly repeating, are taken away. In the cost processes, as a business, you want to shrink those as much as possible. And the sort of efficiency that AI is offering is where you'd be able to really cut that back. Now, again, that does mean that those people in the lower complex roles will lose those roles. And so the challenge now for us as an economy is how do we lift up into that higher capability roles. This is nothing new. Going right the way back to the first time we invented steam engines and we were able to build factories with automated machines, and all of a sudden lots of people lost their jobs and other people became more adept at using machines. This is just the next technical advance and will bring huge opportunities with it.
Alright, I see. Thank you so much for your sharings and definitions. So this just lower. Oh, one more ideas? Alright, sure.
Let's get him a chair.
It's very appreciative for your answer, because I think that's very appropriate to say that it's just the shifting, right, of the role and responsibility. And now I want to share a little bit of my case. I do work a lot on the startup industry. So in the startup industry, there's a term called solo founder, where the founder just do everything himself, right? So that happened frequently in the crypto industry. Back then, there's a guy called Andre Contier. So he's a financial background guy, and then he studied smart contract and about programming. and he just built his own, company, $1 billion plus, before he hired his first engineer. But that doesn't happen quite a lot in traditional industry. But now with the AI, so I'm teaching the student and I mentor the startup now. Now you can do everything by yourself, right? From creating the pitch deck, the content you can get the AI help, right? And then after you got a pitch deck, normally the founder needs to find somebody who will help to do the prototype. There's a tools out there. And when you just screenshot a particular, web app or mobile app, AI will generate for you. And again, like the founder said, you have to have your own idea. These are the tools to help you. And back then, if you are the startup founder in the Web 2, that means traditional business, you need to find the engineer to do the MVP, that means the minimal viable product. But now, the 8 years old kid, she can code that with the AI help in 20 minutes for the just normal website to talk, to chat with the AI. And there's a case in the internet now, there's a guy who just completely developed a social app like Twitter, the fully functional one, in 100 minutes. So the concept of solo founder now become more popular, and I'm working toward in order to have more people to be more inspired, because you don't need a lot of people now. You can actually work on your own, but you need to know how AI can help and can support you. But everything needs to be depends on you.
Thank you. Question. Have a nice day. People want us to talk. That's good, right? Yeah.
So we welcome questions, especially from you who are already working in the market and facing a lot of problems.
I think when you share a lot about AI, the opportunity, the risk, I think it's like what you say, back to the basic, right? We are here in Vietnam. We based to all of us in the school. We learn about commerce, right? So like what is we have the labor and the mean of product, right? So the labor is the mean of product, and then we create the value of the society, right? So now we should go back to basic. AI took the means of product, and human before, we carry big bag. Okay, that's what we call labor. Nowadays, we use our mind to prompt it. So we get back to basics. We don't need to fight against the robots. We don't need to be worried about it. But we should not underestimate its power, because the ability of approaching and touching the source of knowledge and information, and then the ability to analyze it by AI. So I think by back to basic, we will know how we use it, how we tag it as a good means or product of labor to help our staff to work less hard and more effective. So I think you should take it easy, relax, right?
From a very optimistic perspective.
I thought she asked a question.
So I think there's a couple of elements that need to be taken into account. Is there is a lot of new firms, the born digitals, the born AI, and those firms are able to catch up much faster with the market now than ever before. If you're a traditional legacy company, then the challenge for you now is, how do I become digital? How do I become AI empowered? We even saw that with a lot of the banks, where when they first started to do digital banking, it was easier to do a break-off digital bank than change the legacy bank. And so what is your competitive advantage as a traditional legacy firm, and what is your competitive advantage as a born digital company? So there's a lot of really interesting elements here on how can I become more digital, more advanced, more quickly. As we said earlier, there's 98% of the companies in Vietnam are SMEs, so they're already existing. Some of those will be digital, but a lot of those will be based in the old traditional style of labour, of people carrying things on their backs, of 50 women all sitting around sewing or knitting something, right? So there's a large amount of labour-intensive businesses in Vietnam, which how do they use the ability now to do marketing, to do sales, to manage their processes using AI as that enhancer. So it's a really interesting period because I think we're going to see a lot of shift in the competitive landscape as this becomes more available.
Questions?
I love questions.
I have an idea. Last time I give AI from the homework, another is the work. I see that is must and the same time. But I think as Google, when Google, everyone know Google, the memories of people is reduced because they use Google for reduced. And the same of AI, I think when everyone uses AI, they basic skill they reduce. But they need to more localize and maybe the detailed thinking because AI we know about the global information, not detail on your company. So I think when AI, when I apply to AI, I should put detailed information for AI and having summarized it make the maybe the better result. I have a friend, they have a specialist that apply AI to the company. His startup build the new AI in your company and it will training by the information from company that by the CSV file, Excel file, or something else. And we can add the AI about the company, the startup of the maybe the site, ask about the process and so on. And it will maybe help us protect the information, because you use ChatGPT, you will give information to ChatGPT. But if you want, it's keep in your local. And that means now everyone I think have a company. You should build a database for your company, but everything into the computer. And maybe we not apply the maybe AI now, but we have maybe now it is maybe too much expensive. One solution about $30,000 for one company. I remember that from my friend. But maybe in the future it will cheaper. And now we need to build a database and later when it cheap, we can apply and sell the cost. But now I think the first thing everything you do is must everything in your computer, but a local database. That's my idea. Thank you.
Solution. Going to suggest it.
Quickly that hand.
Our industry mentors, you want to say?
No, I agree with her, but I want to emphasize a little bit. When we try to say that we just, apply AI to make the company more effective or the staff more effective, that's just a small part of it. Look at the way we do digitalization, right? It's the whole company shift. So if your staff will be effective, what will be the structure of the company at that time? Are you ready for the change? And you need commitment from the leadership board, right? You don't just go there and make a website and then leave the website there without any interaction. It will be useful. So seeing that from the very simple thing, but it really means a lot of things. Are you ready for the change? Are you having the commitment? How are you going to apply to that? So the level of application will be different. It makes a lot of difference. Right? So the angle of that will make a huge difference in the leadership and the high level of management.
Thank you.
Well, so I think the topic is quite interesting for everyone here. So everyone's really, are running to the topics to discuss about it. But anyway, I just want to have one question to Mr. Andrews and also all the leaders out there, because we're talking about leaderships in the artificial intelligence, and we know in Vietnam. I just want to apply in Vietnam only. And I know that they are, I know that the moderators as it used to be in 10 years in US, and apply in US and Vietnam is totally different, right? So we're talking about intelligence, like AI here. So what is the sustainable? What is the sustainable aspect to all SSME, SME in Vietnam, to be, a sustainable business over time? Because most of the small business here, they thought, even Gen Zs here, and in the 80s, are people here to think about it. They just, start a business here, they use the AI as a tool, to get the world, running around them, make money from them. But 99% of them fail. So the question is, the question is for me and myself, and also I try to answer it all the time, but I need you guys to help me to consult more for all the people here, how AI can help, as a leadership, as a leaders of this small business here, how AI can help them to be sustained in that business. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So I think the first part was when I talked about the capability of strategic thinking. All right. So what is it that you want to do with your business? A lot of small SME, and we talk about like the solo developer as well, that you are a doer. All right, so you know your product. You know how to make your product. You may know how to do your service, but have you studied how to make a business? All right, you were talking about the organizational structure. I talked before about your value-adding processes and your cost-creating processes. So how are you thinking about where am I focusing? A lot of organizations have people who come to work and do their job and go home, and that's all they want to do. A lot of those jobs are the ones that can be replaced by AI because it's a repetitive manual piece of work. So as a leader, what is it that you want your business to be? So are you producing an adaptable business that will get you to a sustainable, my children will take it over, I will be the next family conglomerate of Vietnam? Or are you going, if I can get to this many followers, this much revenue, I can sell it for $1 million? What is your strategic direction for where you're trying to get to? And then how are you actually basically devising your target operating model? So how am I building my business, and which capabilities do I need to make sure I have to kind of get to that strategic part? What you'll notice there is that AI is not a part of your strategy. It is something that you then bring in to support your strategy to get to where you're trying to get to. It's really a tool that's going to get you somewhere.
Okay, can I continue with... I'm trying to answer that question to Mr. Love. From the perspective of SMEs, and from all of my fellows down there, for example, like 8,000 Connections in VNI and our chapter, I have talked to them, I would say seriously, about how they are impacted, how they have been impacted. And this is what I'm trying to say. For example, Miss Tương Phạm down there, right, majoring in importing and exporting seafood, or Miss Nga down there, majoring in taxing and accounting. I would like us to think from our own perspective, our own company, like you just said, right? I want to start with, we all know SME, they really want sales and money, getting back, generating money is the most important part of the SMEs, right? So, get back to that, start chatbot, do simple things first, do simple things. And next one I would really want, because lots of my friends, business owners, have been asked to join all types of, I want to say, fake and low-level AI platforms. I would like us to avoid using them and stop watching too much on TikTok. And I'm not talking about TikTok is bad. I'm talking about TikTok videos, impacting those AIs and AI videos. No, we should stop that and start with a more broader thinking and getting back to our basic elements. Mr. Cường over there, you can try to apply chatbots in human resource training, input every type of product down there. Miss Nga over there, incorporate Copilot. So from a leadership perspective, Copilot can help you to analyze financial data in Excel, right? Start with simple elements. What you really want for your business. So, SME, avoid fake news, getting back to basics, and learn simple things. Learn how the prompt is structured. Learn how it works, and that's it. Stop right from that, and do not think for too long. Let's start like step by step. Set a plan, 5 years. Big plan, but start and act super small. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
One more, just one little thing. So one thing as well when we're talking about that sort of strategic thinking, the competitive landscape, as I mentioned, is changing. If you look back 5 years ago, QR code was limited use. A few of the e-wallets was using it. It's now become a hygiene factor, as an expected channel that I can use as a bank. All right, so AI is quickly going to become, I don't want to have to ring somebody to change a password, that should all be automated. I don't want to have to do this, it should all be automated. So some of those things will become hygiene factors on what your customer will expect. And so I think paying close attention to what is becoming that hygiene factor in your industry is also extremely important.
All right, I see. So actually, one more?
Yeah.
One more round, right? All right, sure.
Yeah, thank you very much for that, Mark. Thank you, Aaron. I totally agree with you, our Andrews and our Fongs and the current about the strategic thinking of the how to sustain your business in the future. But you think that that the AI is really a tool to help you so much better about your business. But I think one of the things is not like maybe I'm an old guys. I'm an old or working old school before. But one thing I really like here, Mr. Andrew just mentioned to you here about risk management. So for me, I experienced a lot. I failed a lot. I would say I failed a lot. I'm a co-founder and I set up a lot of stocks here. I failed a lot. So what I learned from that, and one of the things I will share with Mr. Andrews here is that the faster you go, the riskier you are. Be careful with AI. But of course, AI is a tool for you to grow. Thank you.
All right, so we're actually moving to the risk and the challenge now. We actually put up a lot of things, but actually you guys already bring out the risk and challenge in business. So I'll just try to actually focus on something we didn't bring up. First is the bias. So we already talked about this, right? We all know that AI actually have a third party or somebody invest in or innovate in. So what do you guys think about the bias in AI? What if the AI outcomes lead to the false results? And that's actually based on a population that we the one who created. Then how we can avoid the risk? You want to go first, Mr. Fong?
About the bias?
Yeah.
I don't have any bias with the AI. That's my best friend. Because as you making a bicycle and they already making a wheel for you, so that's wheel for make a different kind of bicycle for you. That's what I want to start from the point of view for sustainability. As a leader, you add sustainability. So you start something, you're doing good, you fail, and you keep doing what you start. And then you doing good and achieve some success until not the generation, next generation. That's sustainability. So for AI, first we start. For the first step, we have to know then what kind of AI solution fit to your organization, fit to your business. The first, and then you have to choose a technology company and work with them and together go together with them and start small. Don't start things. Vietnamese people, we always yell to the world that I will high kid, big kid, and a champion of the world, but we fail. So for AI, we start small, and then when you success and you will scale up. So that's why I don't buy with the AI. AI have myself a lot. Then I just want to warning. What's that one thing? It's not by us. That's my best friend. And thank you either one, then AI appear in my life. And just one warning that, can we do the AI put into a robot and being as us now, just as a human being. We can do that, but we cannot do that. We cannot make this kind of robot like us now, because if that's a deadline for us, if we complete the deadline, that's the end of the mankind. So that's why AI just keep, that's a tool to help our job. That's all. And in the world now, people fighting with some organization or some secret organization. They want trying to make the robots with the AI power being mankind, and we're fighting on that. Yeah. That's what I want to say.
Just like a Terminator.
Yeah. So I think from a bias point of view, I'm very similar. I'm old school, and for people in our generation who have come up, we know how to look at AI critically because we have done the development. I'm really interested, so as we're talking about, right, like how do we manage essays in the future if the robots write the essays? And how does someone know how to critically review an essay if they've never written an essay? So in my world, right, I'm looking at KPI, performance, SLA. So if I'm producing, if AI produces 10 performance metrics for my area, how can I critically look at it because I've made performance metrics before. So in our next generation, the generation after us, who have never had to create a performance measurement before, how do they critically look at it? And so from an educational point of view, how do we teach critical thinking of something that you've never been able to critically look at? So there's a real interest with the fact that the AI will make bias, that there will be mistakes, there will be information that is given that's just completely incorrect, or it's unaligned with the strategy, or it's not aligned with your business goals. How do we critically look at that? That is, I think, one of the biggest capability questions for the next 20, 30 years.
Yeah, I love it.
Well, that was amazing. Thank you, Mr. Phong and Mr. Andrew. So yeah, one more thing I'd like to ask, bias, right? So there's really interesting research, this research about bias, right? So there has been a huge increase in the change of generation, Gen Z, like up down there, in using words because of AI. For example, the words geek, flex, and incur. There has been a huge increase of the usage, and that's the first thing. Okay, the second thing is bias. So I think this is the line between human and AI. That's good. That's good for us, right? That's good news. Not really a bad, a negative one, because we have the power of emotional intelligence. So the bias really make us different from the brilliant. So we have to use, of course, the user have to use their own perspective, their knowledge to critically analyze the result. All right. From a leader's perspective, I do think that that's good news for the leader as well. So they can add something personal when they work with AI, because AI is our best friend. And in the future, AI is like, I cannot go out without my phone. You see, that's good for the bias thing, and in a broader term. And in the future, I think this good news, the biggest good news for all of us. We be different with them. Emotional intelligence and critical thinking.
The point about going out without the phone, and there's a whole sort of like TikTok and everything where you can go and see Google Map mistakes.
Yeah.
Right, where a car ends up in a paddock or a car ends up in a lake. And that's that part of not critically looking at what the AI has told you that you've ended up driving into a lake. Because yes, the map's telling you to go there, but you can see the lake. Yeah. Right?
That's right. That you make decision.
Make a decision. Yeah.
Yeah, just one case of me. I'm teaching about entrepreneurship at Augmented. So we don't want to spend, your teacher don't want to spend like every single day to check your writing. That's not the work for us now. So instead, right, the student now, we move to the situation, you can write whatever that you want to. You can come up with a pitch deck, but we invite the real people, the one who will likely the investor to invest you. You have to pitch to them. You have to critical argue with them. So that is a situation that we have to likely to change the way that we do. Tackling to the bias, right? If you listen carefully to what Mr. Fong say. AI is just a tool, right? And the job of you is to validate. That's why startup had the validation cycle. Everything you come up, you need to validate, validate, and validate. And by the time, you don't expect any business to be like sustained forever. I don't think it's possible, because how about the other person? So once you came to the situation, you think that there's no longer position for you to manage, that would be very important for somebody to step down and to have all the people who have more capability to step up to manage the whole thing.
Thank you. I'm trying to say that we need to accept the change, even being surpassed, right? The reality.
All right. So now we move on to another one, which is kind of like about legal regulations.
Regulation.
Yeah. Actually, in any country, we do have actually legal regulations, right? So what if one company really must comply with legal regulations regarding to the AI integration, actually to avoid violating local laws? So how do you guys deal with that? So I get an example for our students, right? If we're using Google, or we're using Wikipedia, or even we use the ChatGPT, we will get caught by the plagiarism. So that's also the local violation. So what do you guys think about the legal regulation actually impact on artificial intelligence in business?
So from a technical perspective, I think it's really a challenging space. The privacy data component, especially with the European regulations around personal data and the movement of personal data across borders, that is very, very, you have to be very, very careful around who am I using, where is the data flowing, where is it going. So from that side, there's a big interesting piece. The IP is another really interesting one because it's trained on other people's work. And so if you get too close to somebody else's work, where does that line get drawn? I know that there are case studies happening in America, but I haven't seen any clear outcome or ruling on if my data or if your company's data gets hacked and is then put into the training data of a AI, like how does that get proven? How do you get, I think it's going to be really interesting watching the regulatory, so the Europeans are building an AI regulatory commission, the Americans have one as well, which is currently in process. China is probably the strongest currently with AI regulation inside China.
Yes.
So I think it's a very interesting space that we need to watch. I haven't seen what that will be for Vietnam yet. But if you are dealing with anybody outside of Vietnam, then all of a sudden your regulatory landscape gets a lot bigger.
I see. So any comment, Mr. Fong?
I'm sure that all here every day receiving scam telephone more from many parties. And this happened years. But until now, we just have a law on the private data protection that's in draft. So in terms of legal and protection, that we are always slow to the chance. That's at the government level. At the company level, just the only thing that I cannot access to my TikTok and Facebook during the working time. I cannot surfing my internet, and my staff cannot surfing their internet in the working time. And some level of the data protection in 98% of SME company very low. That's what happened in Vietnam. So that's why with the AI applying and very strong, very fast, that's very dangerous for us. And everything is now is winning. And another side, this is promising because there is no there, and you can do whatever you want, and you can create whatever you want. And the market then will answer feedback to the what you are doing. Of course, in the right side. I will mention in the back side here in this event. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. All right. Mr. Pan?
Okay, so Mr. Andrew have already mentioned the regulations, right? So I'm thinking in a different perspective, maybe from SME as well. Okay, So as you can see, like 3 days ago, I would say the Prime Minister just announced that right? He told that we are and we will introduce laws of data privacy, data center, and AI, and starting from Wednesday. Okay, so you see, like as you can say, we are kind of a little bit left our governance kind of slow, and that's good things for SME. They are now have the chance, the niche and the gap. Okay, so they can use AI to create content here in Vietnam freely. And that's good news, right? Maybe, but I think they will have a plan, and they should have a department inside a company or somewhat to regulate the content when they create, okay, to prepare for the future. But of course, right now it's absolutely outstanding and stimulating to the company, to the economy, its own asset, especially SMEs. Congratulations, SMEs.
Any question?
Sorry, that's one thing on. So I think the key part that you were saying there is like that they can produce or have their own section in the business to focus on this. It comes back to the risk management. So what is my likelihood of something happening, and what would be the impact if that thing does happen? And I think a lot of the decisions that we're talking about, whether it's from the bias or whether we're talking from the regulatory part, is how likely, so if I've been testing my AI against the bias and it's got a 99% accuracy rate, then am I worried about that 1%? At which point, if that 1% does come through wrong, what will be the impact to the organization? And is the cost for me to check that bigger or less than what the impact would be? And so that risk management part of actually understanding, especially from the regulatory perspective, what's the chance of me getting caught here? What would happen if I was caught here? Where are, what's the enforcing bodies? How impactful are they? So looking again at that risk management perspective to go, okay, do I really need to invest X amount to do this? Or do I just make sure that in my contracts I'm trying to put as many privacy disclaimers as I possibly can? Yeah.
All right, I just want to bring out the 3 cases of this because I think it's very complicated, right? What I meant is it doesn't need to come until the AI generation to talk about the legal problem. Into 1997, Microsoft was sued by the Sun Java company because of the misuse of their code, the IP of them, right? So one of the engineers of Microsoft, he didn't check carefully, manually, right? Not using AI. So that happened a long time ago. And now there are other 2 cases. One case is one Chinese guy, he looked the same like Steve Jobs, and he's doing the advertisement on GPT. So that's bring a question. Is it copyright infringement? What do you guys think? Is it infringed? No. You cannot copyright the face. You cannot copyright the face, right? So there's no infringement. Now, there's another case. Another guy looked exactly like Jack Ma. So they get his photo into the AI and using the defect to generate another virtual guy, right? And then do some advertisement. Another thing is whether it's an infringement again. We don't have any ideas about that. The legal framework work not ready. Even in the tech business, we don't have ideas about that. Whether defect had a problem with that, right? If the guy sue him, on what base will be the, we find the legal cost or not. So it's quite complicated. So what I mean is, instead of thinking too much, just keep going and do some kind of risk management checklist, and then go back over when we have particular guideline framework. Prepare for yourself.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, so we just actually go over risk and challenge a lot, right? So we're gonna move to another section. The last one is the practical applications. So to be honest, through many case studies and your experience, to be honest, so explain about the standard process that will actually be available for the whole system to build and develop AI properly. Is there any guideline or is any issue of investment possible to solve? I'll just let Mr. Fong answer this one.
Thank you. For that question, as I mentioned from the beginning, But the first thing is that you have to improve the level of integration and connection in the technology architect in the company. The first thing is that if you don't, you cannot apply any AI technology, I'm sure. And because the AI just use their capabilities when they working in the IoT and big data technologies. And without connection and integration, that we cannot do anything. And I think that then AI technology can do that, as I mentioned, that you should start small. Start small with just one application, very small. And when you succeed, you take a lesson and you succeed, and then you scale up to the whole organization. And that's my comment to close this section. And this.
So what was there, Andrew?
Yeah, so I think it's firstly you need data. Alright, so you need to make sure you've got your data management in place. The second part is around your processes. One of the things I hate to see is an organization take an existing inefficient process and spend a lot of money to put it into an automated process. Right? The way of working has to change. So you actually really need to go through a complete sort of process improvement of actually looking at what are we trying to change, what are the features that are going to help us really change the way we look at how we work. And I think that is a really significant piece which a lot of people don't put enough into. To be able to do that, you must understand where you are now and who's going to be impacted by it and what are we going to get rid of. And there are things that you may be doing now that are not in your formal process, because a lot of the time what we have written and what people are actually doing are two very different things. And so really doing the proper process improvement of really defining it, measuring it, analyzing, improving, and then putting the control in place as you go live. So those are the key ones for me.
Amazing.
All right, how was the cup? Is that any reality?
Wow, they really hit it. Love it. I want to summarize and then I'll add my personal perspective, because I just heard something from him, right? You should go divide. So deal with the staff first, then processes and data. So from SME perspective for all large corporations, right? I'm going to start with SMEs first. I think from our experience as well. So first we have to look back at what we are doing right now. The processes, the market insight, and how the companies are really going as well. Then we're going to dive deeper into the details into the departments. So first, look at the bigger side, right? And then the smaller size, inside our companies. Segment into different parts. I would say like we have tried it and failed a few times before. So the first one is, it's really hard to educate people to change their minds. So telling the stories, that's the first thing. Then the leaders must learn or build a department to learn, start learning the basic elements of AI integrating. It's not that complex and it's not that time consuming. It is quite cost effective if we know what we are doing right now. The data we have, the department we need. And yes, as you can say, I totally agree with you about the automations. So we need to change the process to match with what we will do in the near future. So yes, so for my company, for my French company as well. So I mean, like, there's a good bad news. There's a piece of bad news, like we have to lay off around 30 to 40% employees. But the good news is we recruit new type of members who can adapt and who has to be adept at using new technology.
Thank you so much. We actually covered some of the practical questions, but to be honest, we want to leave it to our audience here to let them have any concerns or question about our topic today. So, any volunteer for a question? All right, Dr. We'll have to make clear.
So I think I don't have the question at all. You guys already addressed all of the issues we're concerned about with AI in terms of practice, our situation and practical situation in Vietnam and also in the world. And the only things that I think we need to take a look deeply in that. This is about the guy Tory with Mr. Andrews here. It's about the the process, and how can you, as an SMEs in Vietnam, how can you optimize your process, because the more you optimize your process, the more you can automate the activity that you want to do, because when you automate the activity you do, you can apply AI. AI is not really fancy tools at all. It's already there. You can use it anytime. Thank you.
So I think the point on there is that AI allows you, especially as an SME, to focus on your value creation.
Absolutely. Nice.
All right. One more round of question, because we're actually raising a lot of excitement here, so we actually already started a question before our Q&A session. So I just want to quick one more question, and we will just wrap up our Executive Cafe today. Any question or concern? All right, I think we're good to go. So to be honest, ladies and gentlemen, we actually walked through the whole AI management system that our experts have been walk us through. And every business, to be honest, will have an ambition to grow and inquire about integrating artificial intelligence during the 4.0 society, right? The process may disappoint us due to the challenge, risk, and possibly failures, like Dr. Lam used to say. However, we also need to slow down and consider some experts in the same field in order to let us grow together. And that is how we use AI snappily, and AI can lead to the positive developments, like our three experts have been telling us. AI is our best friend too, as is we know how to use and how to change. So, at SSBM Geneva in Vietnam, we built actually a community to let our colleagues share, find support, and actually collaborate to find solutions for their business. So that is our Executive Cafe today. Thank you so much.